Bulls Nation, today we had a game against the Detroit Pistons in a pretty vital win for anybody that still wants to believe in the play-in tournament. And the Chicago Bulls came out and threw some scares in the fourth quarter and threw some really good comebacks. And you have to give a lot of credit to the Detroit Pistons for how they played today. The Chicago Bulls did not give up, and the Chicago Bulls persevered, and the Chicago Bulls picked up a very big victory in this game today. And we've won a few games now over recent times. And again, optimism, but also there's a little bit of, I guess, some fear of the unknown, or maybe the fear of something that is going to happen and we don't make that play-in tournament. Without further ado, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls versus the Detroit Pistons, and let's talk about it in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls versus Detroit Pistons game reaction. The Chicago Bulls nearing its end of the season. In the end, with a lot of things still riding on this season, the play-in tournament is within reach. It is seeming more unlikely by the day, but at the end of the day, the Chicago Bulls still have that chance. And whether we make it or not, again, I can repeat myself every single video and I can give you the same answer I've always been giving you. But in the end, I feel like it's important to praise the Chicago Bulls at this point in time for the wins that they've gotten and also for what's to come if they can continue to win the games. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls game today against the Detroit Pistons. The scoreline for this game was 108 to 106. The Chicago Bulls were up for the majority of this game, and this game was almost like there wasn't any doubt that the Chicago Bulls were going to win. From the very beginning, it looked like the Chicago Bulls had the upper hand, and we kept things rolling. And of course, in the fourth quarter, we didn't have a terrific fourth quarter, and the Pistons slowly bounced their way back a little bit. But the Chicago Bulls, in the end, did what was needed to be done and won a very important game. Now, this is the third time we faced the Detroit Pistons. We have won all 3 games against them, and we will no longer face them for the remainder of the season. Granted, it's a very short season now. I believe 5 games left for the Chicago Bulls, or 4 games left for the Chicago Bulls. We don't have a lot of time left for this season, but in the end, we are on a 3-game win streak from this game, and we beat, I believe, the Charlotte Hornets, the Boston Celtics, and the Detroit Pistons. So in the end, 2 very credible wins with the Charlotte Hornets and the Boston Celtics. And obviously this was an expected win from the Chicago Bulls. But in the end, we've had trap games like this before. And we've had instances where the Bulls have not come out strong against a team we should be beating. And they come back and they end up beating us. So that has happened to us before. So you can never rule this game out for the Chicago Bulls as a win, a guaranteed win, because we could have definitely lost this game as well. But I said I have to give credit to the Detroit Pistons. Now, how do I mean give credit to the Detroit Pistons? The Chicago Bulls, in terms of injuries and players that were missing in today's game, was Troy Brown Jr. and Daniel Tice. I don't believe there was anybody else that actually was injured for the Chicago Bulls. But if you looked at the Detroit Pistons roster, and to be fair, with their roster fully healthy and without their roster fully healthy, they're not the best side. I think we can all agree on that. Even Detroit Pistons fans can say that at this point in time. They're a team that's looking into the draft. They're not necessarily a team that is going to win games consistently, even with their best roster. But their roster was heavily injured within today's game. And I don't know how long it's been going on for, but when I watched this game and I saw the injuries that they had, especially to Jeremy Grant, again, that's their all-star at the end of the day, or I guess that's their best player. It's an unfortunate circumstance for them, but in the end, I'm sure they don't mind losing this game. Again, this brings them another step closer to the first overall pick. And I'm sure that's what their target is. So I don't think there's any complaints with how this game went today. Now, for the Chicago Bulls, we were pretty dominant, I would say. I don't think this was the absolute best game we've ever played, but this was definitely a game where we looked very comfortable. And that's what I said before. This game didn't look out of reach. Without any doubts, this game was very comfortable for the Chicago Bulls. I had no doubts going into this game that we would lose it, even though there was always a chance. but I walked into this game thinking of the win, and we walked out of it with the win itself. So that's very good to see for the Chicago Bulls. And what got us this win at the end of the day wasn't necessarily the entirety of the team. I think in individual performances, you'll see the Chicago Bulls had 3 or 4 really standout players, while the rest kind of fell to the wayside. So I can't really give credit to the bench production for this game, for the victory for the Chicago Bulls. And I can't really say that we played better overall than their bench. I don't really know how they went. I don't know how their bench played, but I don't think our bench was particularly great. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the must improve for one specific player. But in terms of our starting lineup, and especially 4 players within that starting lineup, I thought played decent basketball today, and that was the key to the victory. And I think that was very well needed, because I don't think we were up to the task of being a balanced scoring team in this game specifically. So again, we're a team that usually has balanced scoring, I would say. And again, the bench wasn't terrible, but I just thought without the starters today, we would be in major jeopardy of losing that game. So I have to give credit to the starters. And I do have to say the bench kind of needs to step up a little bit. And in the end, it's a good scoreline regardless. And if the bench did step up, we would have won by more. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I wanted this team to win by more. But again, I can't complain about a win and 3 games in a row. We don't have time to be picky. We don't have time to say we should win by more, we should win by less. A win is a win at the end of the day, and we don't have really time to complain about what we did right and wrong. But we're going to go to the individual performances nonetheless, and I'm going to just mention 4 of the starters pretty much for today's game. And if I have missed anybody on the bench that has played well, in your opinion, please let me know in the comments below. Nikola Vucevic had 29 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, and I also believe he had a block in today's game. Again, Nikola Vucevic, in the last few games since he's come back from injury, has been balling out for the Chicago Bulls. Paint production, getting offensive rebounds, crashing the offensive glass, mid-ranges, 3-pointers. He's done absolutely everything, and he's crashing the boards on both sides of the ball. And again, this was a game that really suited Nikola Vucevic, because their centers were out. Mason Plumlee wasn't able to guard Nikola Vucevic today because he wasn't playing. Their best center was undersized, and he took advantage of that, Nikola Vucevic, and that's what he does best. So I'm very happy with his production today. And again, I'd like to see more from Nikola Vucevic and more from Zach LaVine. I want to see these two really gel together, so that by the time next season comes around, we can truly say that this is going to be a dynamic force for the NBA to be really hard for them to deal with these 2 players specifically. So I want to see them continue to bond together. Speaking of Zach LaVine, a fantastic night for the Chicago Bulls All-Star. 30 points, 3 rebounds, and 6 assists for Zach LaVine. I mean, what do I have to say on this retrospect? What a terrific performance from Zach LaVine. And again, this is his 3rd game back, and he's putting up numbers like this. He missed 11 games. He missed a lot of time for the Chicago Bulls. So I'm very, very happy with his performance today, and I thought he's our best player. But again, we'll get to that a little bit later on. But Zach LaVine was phenomenal. He got dunks, he was shooting threes, effective scoring, efficient scoring. And in the end, this shows the exact reason why we've missed Zach LaVine in this team. I understand we versed the Detroit Pistons, and they're not the best team out there, but this game specifically shows why we've missed Zach LaVine for the majority of the time that he was out. We don't have enough firepower with Zach LaVine now, and especially with both Zach LaVine and Vucevic out. So these 2 back is great for the offensive end. Kobe White, another really good performance today from Kobe White. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, or could be 4 assists and 3 rebounds. In the end, Kobe White, he's the 3rd option on this team, and he's delivering as the 3rd option on this team. He is scoring effectively, and he's able to really run the team in many ways. Again, I really think that slowing down the pace for Kobe White has really helped him in the starting lineup, and I like to see that. At the end of the day, Kobe White is known to be a very fast, very energetic, very effective player when he's slashing to the rim. And many times we've seen he can still slash to the rim, he can still be that fast, energetic player, and he can still do that effectively. But having that side of the game where he could slow the game down, play with a player like Nikola Vucevic, who in the end is helping Kobe White, in my opinion, dramatically with his performances, and being able to be a catch and shoot player while also passing into the post, while also helping on the pick and roll and the pick and pop. This he's a really good version of Kobe White that we've been seeing over the past few weeks. And I've said it before, there has been ups, there has been downs, especially this season with Kobe White. There's been a lot of ups and there's been a lot of downs, but don't lose faith in Kobe White just yet. We still have so much that we have yet to see from this young man. He's only 21 years old, man. He's my age. I can't believe it. And he's playing like that on the basketball court for the past few weeks. Very, very good to see. Thaddeus Young, 11 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds, and again, Thaddeus Young was kind of the fourth option on the starting lineup, but I definitely think his part he played in the game was pretty crucial towards it. And again, everyone in the starting five, in my opinion, maybe outside of Patrick Williams, the starting lineup played very, very well. The bench did all right. It was mediocre at best, I would say, for the bench. But the starting lineup, these 4 players, I think, really stepped up to the occasion and played a very good game and helped us get a pretty important victory. In the end, this is the box score, this is the individual performers. We've won 3 games in a row. And again, people still have the faith. People still believe that the playing tournament is a potentially opportunity for the Bulls. We can still get there. Mathematically, it's still possible. And you see teams like the Indiana Pacers that have not been playing very well recently. And again, they have all sorts of issues with their team, their coaching staff, all of the sorts. And again, it's extremely unlikely for the Bulls, and I still believe we will finish 11th. I don't think we will get there. But there is opportunities there if we can continue to win our games. If we can beat the Brooklyn Nets, if we can beat the Raptors that's coming up, and if we can beat the Bucks, these teams, if we are able to beat them, if we are able to show out and perform like everything's on the line, there is an opportunity there for the Chicago Bulls. The question is, do you believe the Chicago Bulls can beat the Brooklyn Nets? Do you believe the Chicago Bulls can beat the Milwaukee Bucks? Do you think the Chicago Bulls can beat the Toronto Raptors? And all of these games that we have, we've got Brooklyn twice, the Bucks once, and the Raptors once. Do you think the Chicago Bulls can win all of those games? Because if we can win all of those games, we have the opportunity and we have the chance, but it's up to fate, but it's also up to the Bulls. It's not in our hands at the end of the day. We still have to rely on the Pacers to lose. We still have to rely on the Wizards to lose. But we need to make sure we have every single opportunity that we have what's left to try and win every single game and make it as close as possible and make the other teams feel that we're coming for them. In the end, I don't think we're going to make it. I've said that for a long time now, almost 2 weeks, but it's still a possibility. I think if there's still a possibility, then the Bulls should still continue to fight for it. That's truly what I believe, and I think that's what we will do. Now let's go into the must improve for the Chicago Bulls. I'm going to pick Larry Markkinen. I believe Larry Markkinen only had 2 points in today's game, and he played around 22 minutes. So again, this is a pretty straightforward one. I don't think Larry Markkinen was dreadful today, but again, when you play 22 minutes and you only have 2 points in the game, it's just not a good look, especially when someone is on their contract year. Again, this is the inconsistency that we all don't like to see from Larry Markkinen. It's as simple as that. He's played, in my opinion, personally, he's played very well, similar to Kobe White over the past few weeks. He's getting limited game time, but he's producing in the minutes that he gets. But today was not that game. And once again, it seems like this is going to be a normal thing for Larry Markkinen, where he's going to have these good games. He's going to be a player that you can rely on the scoring end, but then there's going to be those 1 or 2 games where he just doesn't show up to the plate, or it looks like he's taking the game off. I don't really know what else to say on that retrospect. In the end, this is a disappointing game, and I don't know his future with the Bulls. I can never say for sure, but this is definitely a game that does not represent him very well, and I don't like to see that. I like Larry Markkinen, but in the end, you've got to perform better. Now, the player of the game for me is Zach LaVine, and I've really given it to Zach LaVine just because this is a player that has not been playing for a long time, and he came back. He's played 3 games, and 2 out of his 3 games he's played very good basketball. And in my opinion, today's game with his 30 points and his 6 assists was absolutely vital towards the team's victory today. He always seems to play well against the Detroit Pistons in the end. I guess ever since the first game where he kind of got scratched up, he's kind of taken things personally against Detroit. I'm not sure what the case may be, but he always seems to play well against the Detroit Pistons. So this is another example of that. He played very well. He played 36 minutes and he got 30 and 6. So he played phenomenal basketball in my opinion. Him and Vucevic was absolutely sensational, and having Kobe White as the third option, putting up 21 points, is again a fantastic feat for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls record is 29 and 39. We still have the opportunity. That's all I could really say on this season in its entirety. We have the opportunity still. We have to leave it up to fate. We have to rely on other teams to lose, and we have to keep on winning. But there's a chance there for the Chicago Bulls if they truly believe they can get there. So what I ask for the Chicago Bulls now is whether we make it or we don't make it, these next 5 games are crucial for the Chicago Bulls. It's as simple as that. Or the next 4 games, is crucial for the Chicago Bulls. There can't be any slip-ups here. The Brooklyn Nets, twice. The Raptors, once. The Bucks, once. This is the remaining calendar season for the Chicago Bulls. There can't be a slip-up. We're versing good teams. Teams that might rest their players against us, or teams that will bring everything that they have. But one more loss for the Chicago Bulls, and it's pretty much lights out for our season. We have to win all of our games now. And that's the situation we're being put with. In the end, if we lose one of these games, it could be over for our season. It's as simple as that. And I know people don't want to... I know mathematically there's a chance, and many people want to believe we can do it. And if we do it, then it's going to be one of the better stories in the NBA season, how we've managed to come back from being so far down. But one loss could be the end of our season. And that's the situation. And it's sad to think about. But in the end, if we don't make it, it's because we don't deserve to make it. Let's be honest here. But we shall wait and see how it goes. Let's see if the Chicago Bulls can keep fighting. And that's what I really want out of this season. If we're going to go out on your sword, fight for every game, and try to win every single game. No tanking, no players resting. Daniel Tice didn't play today. I didn't like that. But again, I can't control every single time that someone gets injured for this team, but it was very frustrating to see Daniel Tice not play today because I think he's vital towards the team. But again, every single game now has to be a must-win scenario, and we're going to have to wait and see if the Bulls can pull off a miracle here. The next game is against the Brooklyn Nets. In the end, this is going to be a very interesting game, and we shall wait and see how that goes. I don't know who's playing for the Brooklyn Nets. They seem to have a lot of players that rest every now and then for their team. They're truly and well and truly getting ready for a playoff push, and more importantly, a championship push. So the Brooklyn Nets don't really have a lot riding on this game. But again, it could be a game that they will go out and try to win, try to build some chemistry, or maybe this is an opportunity for the Bulls to attack the Brooklyn Nets when they're not really having their eyes focused on the regular season. Let's see how that goes. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful and safe day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Take care.